today's video, we're going to be covering the Riffle force. Last one we covered the rollover force. This one will be the Riffle force, and it is just a useful classic sleight that we can use to our advantage. So it looks like this. So you have the spectator say, you address the spectator saying, I'm going to go across cards. You tell them to stop whenever you like. They say stop. You want to go further, back, right there. They go right there. Okay. You can peek the card. And you already know it's a 6 of spades, and you're well ahead to doing whatever effect you need to do with the force card, which is nice. And this could also be used to force the bottom card as well. So let's say I'm doing an old thing I know I shouldn't be doing. my friend Sean would do it a lot. The old style I see him do how he would force a card. Anyways, they can say stop whenever. Okay, and then you can actually show the bottom card, which is the 10 hearts. And I'm not looking at that screen. I just already know from the insight of forcing it, which is cool. And then there were bonuses on it. I can't remember. I'm blanking. But let's just jump into the sleight. It's a fun one, and it's classic. So there are many ways to do it. The first thing you would need to know is whether you want to force the top or bottom card. There's top or bottom. Yeah, there you go. So what I tend to do is, well, you have to sight it beforehand. So you can spread them through, show the cards are mixed, sight the top card, not in a blazingly obvious manner, but just, and you can see all the cards are mixed. Yes, and you go, yep, okay, good. And then after showing they're mixed, you can go into the force, but you just want to sight the card. Now the old gesture I see my friend Sean do, because the cards would be mixed anyways, he would just blazingly, just openly turn up the top card to just like towards himself. So he would just push off the card. I should not be suggesting this, but whatever. It's just a little thing I saw him do a lot back in the day. So he'd take the top card, peek it towards himself, and try to refrain it from the audience, and turn it over. So just 2 fingers, thumb, turn it towards himself, doing that. It's a blazing method. It's not one I technically would encourage, but it's very interesting. And then after that, we would do a swing cut. So that would swing cut. And I did cover the swing cut. You can check Devolving Magic swing cut if you want to see a swing cut or other sources. So swing cut, and then pinky break right here. And then you could swing another half of the remaining packet onto the break, above the break, and then throw the last on top. Squaring everything, forefinger right here to cover the break, the otherwise obvious break. And we can then square up and adjust, so you can move your pinky back with less pressure towards the middle. It can, and a little bit of pressure towards the thumb. It looks a little bit more like there isn't a giant gap with your thumb, and with your thumb formally covering, and then your forefinger really covering the gap, so there's nothing really noticed. So then we go across the cards like so. You could do it one-handed technically. You really could, but I mean, you could do it for the most part one-handed, I guess. I tend to do it. The original books describe you using 2 hands. They tell you when to stop, and then lift off, and then give you the card. 10 of clubs in this case. Okay. But let me see. So riffle off. They say when to stop. So you've got the break right here, forefinger right here, and thumb riffles off. And regardless of whether you use one-handed or two-handed. I'm going to use one-handed just because I want to show the bare actions. But then you can always put the hand here for the action and then just lift off and force it. So you use thumb, forefinger, 3 fingers, pinky holding a break from the back as far as it can, so it puts less pressure here. Okay, they say when to stop. And you can also turn your hand a little so you can be able to show that moment a little bit better. They say stop. Wherever they say stop, it really doesn't matter to where they say stop, because you're just going to lift up from the back at the break. The hand covers. I mean, with the two-handed method, this is why it's important. The hand covers where you left off at, and then you can force the 10 of clubs. But in the one-handed, you got a little bit less cover, so you got to maybe misdirect. You sure right there? Okay. And then you can just, you're going to have to do something very bold. Say after they say stop, right here. And you, in the one-handed method, you've got two options, not until the very end, because the two-handed method, you do this since the very beginning. Then there's one-handed, which I tend to do right there. Then at the very last second, I cover, only to cover, and then lift off, 10 of clubs. And then there's a really, really bold method, which, hey, try if you're crazy enough. They say stop, and then you say, oh, really, right there? And then you gesture forward. You're looking at them, creating enough misdirection to drop off all the cards. And then you're hitting right at the break. And then you hit the 10 clubs. It's really, really bold. So do it to your own demise, I guess. But if you can do it, great. It's an awesome way to do it. It's really bold. Magicians go, wow, he's bold. He went for the misdirection. Cool. He's the next Lightini. Kidding. That's the way. It's gotten so bad for magicians, and if I'm allowed one gag, that as they riffle off, like they just riffle, say, tell them to stop, and then they say stop, and they go to the bottom card, like literally you can see it, so obvious, and then they lift up at the break, and then they deal it from the middle, which is so laughable. It's a joke for magicians because we all know of the riffle force. This is classic for us. I mean, since we use it so much to do whatever effect we need to do, it's really, really funny. So overviewing, whichever method you choose to do the riffle, I covered a couple different ideas or ways, variations. Swing cut, break, swing cut, swing cut. I'm forcing 10 of clubs. They tell me to stop. I stop. You sure right there? Okay. Hand lifts up. And then I can show them the card and deal it out. 10 of clubs. Again, if you wanted to force the bottom card, you just need to peek the bottom card. And instead of doing all those swing cuts, it would just be one swing cut, break, then riffle. They say wherever stop, doesn't matter. Lift off. And then show the 10 of clubs as you would have forced it on bottom. So there's that one. So there's that idea for how to force the cards. So whether it be on top, bottom, however you choose to do it, however bold, there's something in here for everyone. And it's just a classic slide for forcing or doing whatever card you need to do in a casual manner. And I should cover peeking the card, because I don't want anyone to walk off with just, hey, the only method you gave was to do this, to peek the card and then swing cut it. And it works. I'm like, no, that's bad. King of Spades. I want to give a couple different methods. So real fast, as I covered in a previous video, bubble peek. So 4-finger thumb, 3 fingers right here. You can peek the card just by thumb pushing on it. 5 of clubs. Okay. I do about another bubble peek. 10 of clubs. Huh. Well, so that's funny. Let me see if I can do it again. Okay, here. I just bubble peek. I talk specters casually. I bubble peek 3 of hearts. Okay, that's a method to do to gain the card. You can do I call it the biddle peek. You get your 3rd, 4th, 5th fingers. 4-finger right here. Thumb and backs with thumb. 1st finger, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and you can just slightly edge off the top card as you're doing an all-around square up. So I just call it a biddle peek. You just slightly turn it up enough. You can do it with practice, see how much you need. So I just do enough. I turn the deck. I peek the top card. And then I'm all set, knowing it's the 3 of hearts. So in action, okay, it doesn't even need to be that obvious. It can be more subtle. We work on subtlety if need be. So 10 of clubs is another one. How do I keep on getting 10 of clubs? Okay, let's try it for a different one. 2 of clubs. There we go. And then we go into the force. There's a couple different methods, or just literally, most classic, show all the cards, you peek the top card, and you're all good. That's should be the number 1 suggested. I laid it for last. How hilarious. I just want to give you a method so you can be able to force, be able to show fairly cards, give this level of fairness, and then force a card like the 2 of clubs when you need it to. And with that said, I hope this video was helpful to you in your journey to learning card magic or reviewing it, however. And I just want to wish everyone a wonderful day and see you in the next video. Like and subscribe.